In this video, you're going to learn how you can make a little bit of side income as a worship leader if you are interested in producing your own tracks for worship. So here I'm with Matt McCoy. He is the founder of loopcommunity.com. Matt, tell us a little bit more about what you guys do at Loop Community.
Yep. So Loop Community, we provide worship leaders with tracks and hardware and software for running tracks in worship. So we're trying to make running tracks really simple. So we have an app, we have hardware, and we sell tracks. But what's really unique about Loop Community is that we sell tracks that are made by worship leaders. So like if you make tracks at your church for a song, you can upload them to Loop Community, and every time they sell, you make money. So it's like a marketplace where worship leaders can share the tracks that they're making.
Awesome. So how do you go about starting that process? Like, do you have to apply for the program? How do you guys make sure that only people making quality tracks are actually creators for the platform? How does it work?
Yeah, because that's key, because we want to make sure that the tracks are like quality, so when other worship leaders buy them, they're not disappointed. So there's a simple application form. So you just go to the website, click on upload at the top, and you can apply to become a producer for Loop Community. And it's a simple, you fill out a form, and you submit a sample track that you've made before. And then our team reviews that, and if it matches our quality standards, then we accept you as a producer, and then you're able to upload as many tracks as you want.
Okay. And if the tracks get accepted, they're uploaded, and when someone buys the tracks, so let's say, what is it, like for a full multi-track stem for community tracks, what's the average price for that? Does it change?
If you're going to use it in our app, it's $14.99.
$14.99. What if it's WAV?
The WAV files, it's $19.99.
$19.99. Let's say $20.
Yep.
So what's the revenue share? If my tracks get sold for $20, then what's the split? How's that work?
So Loop Community covers all the licensing, meaning every time these tracks sell, we have to pay the songwriters and the people who actually own the song. So they get a portion, and then the producer gets a portion, and the producer cut is 20%.
Okay, awesome. So
every time it sells,
$4 if it's a $20,
$4,
$20, approximately $4 for that.
Yeah, which buys you a cup of coffee. And what's cool is that, if you build a track, instead of letting it just sit on your hard drive, why not just upload it to Loop Community? And if it sells 10 times in a day, it's $40. No, it is $40 a day.
Yeah.
And just a side income, money that's coming in that you didn't have to do anything for.
Yeah. So let's think about some strategies for folks who actually want to make this a significant part of their income. Because guys, I actually make the majority of my living online with Churchfront. So that's how I put food on the table for my family. Matt kind of does the same thing with Loop Community. And for folks who are wanting to really have a great little side income with these tracks, like, man, there's just such a market out there because so many people need music. Like, I even think as a video creator, I'm always licensing music for these videos that I put on YouTube. And obviously for worship ministry, we're a huge part of the music industry. So I think there's just a lot of potential for folks who are creative and entrepreneurial, and just want to have that flexibility of passive income. So strategically, like, what has been working the best for the producers on your platform in terms of like picking the right songs to make tracks for? Like, what styles are people looking for out there? Like, what actually sells?
So some of the producers on our site are making a couple grand every single month.
Wow.
And they have been for years. And so it's a pretty significant extra side income. But the key to that is being strategic about the songs you're picking. So, and being the first person to do it. So for example, a new Hillsong album comes out. These guys are listening to the album right away as it drops, or maybe as they release singles, or even sometimes they watch YouTube videos of these songs being sung live 6 months before the album even drops. And you kind of have to use your worship leader instinct and gut of like, oh, that's going to be a good song. So for example, like Reckless Love, when that first came out, the guys who got on that one early and were the first people to upload a track for it made tons of money.
Because probably even before master tracks were available.
Well, that's what's cool is that sometimes these things are released via YouTube. And they're not even out on an album anywhere. I think Surrounded, Fight My Battles was like that. And guys get a track up for a YouTube version that went viral. And it blows up. So being strategic about the song.
I think the key is you want to create the tracks that people are searching for, worship leaders are searching for. Like, maybe you have some like favorite obscure worship song that you like doing, and that's great. Make tracks for them, but like probably strategically, it's not going to be purchased probably maybe at all sometimes.
Right.
So that definitely go to like I would think go to like CCLI Top 100.
Yep.
Maybe start there. I bet there's a correlation between the most what's popular songs there and what gets most downloaded on your platform.
Totally. Or I know that in Planning Center,
yeah,
they have like the top song search that ranks everything.
Yeah.
If you go back a couple pages, you can kind of see what's rising and what's falling.
Yeah.
Look at the ones, you know, that are starting to rise, like major jumps. You know how something's like the plus 63 or something, meaning it jumps 63 spots.
Yep.
That might be one you want to keep an eye on and maybe make a track for it. Because down the road, maybe 3 months from now, it's going to be in the top 20.
Yeah. Do you need a big, elaborate studio to be producing tracks?
No, definitely not. And that's actually what I think is so cool about technology now, is like, back in the day, you did need a studio to do this. And now, you could just be making tracks on your computer, like in your basement, with like a little mini MIDI keyboard.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of guys feel pressure that they need to make a track that sounds exactly like the original, meaning a full drum kit, bass guitar, electric guitar, background vocals, and that's not the case. Because most of the worship leaders who are using tracks from Loop Community, they have a drummer and they have a bass player. They're just needing the supplemental stuff. So I think the best community tracks out there are all electronic instruments that aren't trying to mimic a real drum kit, but something to supplement a real drum kit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like making a track that's like electronic beats and synth and maybe some percussion to supplement then like a full band.
Yep.
So
yeah, do you feel like there's kind of any shifts happening with the styles of worship music? Like, I don't know, it's just interesting. This is really just an open-ended question because like, I sense that there has been a lot more electronic stuff with beats and synths going on. And then Hillsong United just drops their latest album, which is like super guitar heavy in a lot of ways. But are you like, you guys must have so much data on just where the trends are kind of going, like, because you see the new songs being produced and written by the songwriters and labels, but then you also are seeing the community contributors. Like, what are you seeing any patterns right now of where things are headed?
It's interesting because we've seen a very interesting pattern. When we first started, it was everybody played songs kind of just like how they play them. You know, their own flair, their own feel, their own arrangement. And then maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, everyone kind of got on this kick of like, no, we need to do it exactly like the album. And they would play it with like the master track. They want to do it, they want to sound exactly like the album. And I'm starting to see a shift now back again towards like people wanting to just do it as they do it. And be, you know, not just sounding like the church down the street or not trying to make their worship band sound exactly like Hillsong, but like who their worship band sounds like, you know, be who they are. And I do think that it's actually shifting back that way. Because, you know, I think that like any time in my life where I've tried to just like mimic someone, it's not as fulfilling.
No.
Being who you are and sounding like who I am and who God made me sound like is the most fulfilling. Instead of me feeling this pressure to be like, oh, I gotta sound like Chris Tomlin or something, which Chris is, you know, it sounds awesome. But that's Chris's sound, you know?
And even just strategically, like you would hope, I would think that people are looking for a unique take on these tracks. Like, if you're a community contributor, like maybe the reason people buy community tracks is because they want something different than the master tracks. Yeah,
and if you've played like This Is Amazing Grace 1,000 times, it can just start to get sleepy. And maybe it'd be fun to change it up. For a Sunday.
Any other final tips for folks wanting to get into this?
I would just say, keep it simple. Like, get Ableton Live intro or Logic, and just keep it simple. Like, try just building a track. It's not that hard. We have a bunch of training videos on our YouTube about how to learn how to produce tracks. But like, don't feel the pressure to make it sound like the original. Like, make a track for how you play that song. And I'm sure there's gonna be another worship leader who thinks that's cool and different, and maybe wants to try it. One of my favorite tracks is a track by So Will I, by a church called, I think, Northwood or something, and they really did it different. And people, like, people are buying that track like crazy because they're trying to do it now like them, which is interesting because it's not at all like the way Hillsong did it.
Yeah.
So it just shows that like new flavor and feel, like people will like find that really beneficial to their church too. So
awesome. Well, thanks, Matt, for those tips. Thanks for all you guys are doing here at Loop Community.
Yeah.
And guys, just make sure you go check out their channel, subscribe to them, check out the website, and apply to be a contributor.
Yeah, make some money on the side.
Yeah, it could be a really fun side hustle. And it's not just a way to make money, but you're actually like helping other worship ministries and giving them just a better variety of tracks to select from. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, hit that thumbs up button and share it with your friends in ministry. You can check out some related videos right on over there. And don't forget to subscribe to the Churchfront channel so you can continue to receive all of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your worship ministry.